where the breathing is easy, the living is good. Out in the great outdoors.
Larry Smith Outdoors is brought to you by Warrior Boats, Vortex, Tub Hotels, Leroy's Meats, Bartline Barrels, Magic Products, Power Sports Company, Mike's Country Meats, Baronet Blinds, Drexel Building Supply, River's Edge Tree Stands, and the MRD Group.
Out in the great outdoors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's show. I will tell you what, like I do each and every week, thanks for joining us. That's the first part of it. We are out today and we're actually going to be doing some white bass fishing. You know, with our good friend Lance the Lightning from Great Day Guiding. Hey Lance, I mean, you've lived on the lake all your life and I've spent a lot of my life on this lake. We're going to target white bass. We're probably going to catch a bunch of walleyes and a bunch of other fish. But you know what? Let's talk about the system. Right now, I think the system is in its prime. We're finally starting to see our white bass population come back. And I'm going to throw this in here. I personally think white bass, I know I'm going to get scolded for this, I personally think white bass are better eating than white fish. I do. They're not as oily. They're not as bony.
I'll give you that, and you can freeze them.
And you can freeze them, right? I mean,
right.
White fish, don't send me any death threats, but especially out of the Bay of Green Bay. Lake Superior whitefish are absolutely superb, but anything out of Lake Superior is good. I think myself that there should be some kind of limit on the white bass unless they come back in vengeance like that. Like, you know, 50 white bass is more than enough. And that's kind of the unique part, because when you look at the white bass run, which is going on now up in Fremont, it's going on up in the Fox River in that area, but more people kind of migrate into the Wolf River in that Fremont area more than anything, because you know that's a mecca for white bass where they spawn right there.
And like you say, our system is thriving right now. Panfish, walleye, white bass.
It's a good.
And you and I both do the same thing. You know, we're out there, we're on a great bite of perch or bluegill. They do have a limit of 25, but us as conservationists,
yep,
we limit it. You know, 15. That's enough. 30 fillets per person.
That's a lot of fish. And you know, anytime that water temperature drops that fast, especially getting cold like that after a warm up like that, it really slowed down a lot of the fishing. Now we're back into a warming trend. You know, we're into that first week of May here, and things are starting to progress. So you're going to see a lot of really good fishing. It doesn't matter what you're looking for coming up, and especially on this system here. Hey everybody, hang on to your heinies. We're gonna go target some white bass and hopefully catch a bunch of walleyes with it. You know what, it's always just kind of fun being back out on your own system. And you know, people always ask me, where's your favorite place to fish? I would still have to say, you know what, my home water here. So hang on to your heinies, let's see what happens. Once we find these fish, we're gonna try to catch them on a bunch of different methods, but utilizing your electronics. And we've been talking more and more about this lately because the game has changed so drastically with all the advancements in electronics. It just obviously makes your life a lot easier when it comes to finding fish. So you just put your live scope down, you got your side imaging going on the Humminbird right there. I see fish on the side imaging. I don't see any on the live imaging yet. Do you?
No, I've seen a couple go through tight to bottom here.
Okay.
What we're looking for is the pods of fish. You know, there goes a couple through bottom right now.
Okay.
But where we get them consistently, you know, 10, 12 going through at a time, those are the areas that we're going to start targeting fish. It's so, with the technology today, fish where fish are, you know, that.
Right.
When we see them on our electronics, obviously, target them, start switching tactics. Start off with flies this morning, might do some dragon this morning.
Well, I
just
see
switch
a ton
it up.
of fish on
right.
side imaging.
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like some of them could be walleyes too.
Right, a little longer, look more like blades of rice. That's what I kind of call the walleyes.
Right.
So, yep, look at our electronics, kind of dial it in and go from there.
Okay, sounds good. There you go. We'll take that all day, Lance, like that. Well, that's a nice way to start the morning off.
That minnow on the fly.
You did. That's interesting. You dirty dog.
See what happens.
Yep, 15, 16 incher. That's a great fish right there. It's just one of them kind of things that only makes sense if you would protect these fish. I know now we went to a 3 fish limit, and I agree with that. I don't have any problem with that at all.
No,
but
we like to see a minimum some size limits.
Would, and then a slot, like if you were to protect the main spawners and that's a fish that's 18 to 22 inches, I think it'd be a big difference out on this system. You dirty dog, you put 2 flies on, 2 minnows on it.
Well, I got bid on another one in just a minute, I will. I got minnows for you too, $2 a piece.
2, that's cheap.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
only
feeling generous today,
six,
Smith.
$6, I'll hit 6. If I only need 3 minnows to get my limit, that's $6. That's worth it. Let's see what we got here, Lance. I think it's
3 lines.
Aha! Can't catch the whiteys on the flies, but on a night crawler and a jig, I'll take that. What we're doing here is basically we pulled flies up into the current. Now we're dragging crawlers back. Just picked up that white bass. They are dang good eating. Live well, Lance. That's what we're looking for. Fighting good now. Yeah.
Mighty whitey.
Awesome.
That's what we're looking for out of these cold water temps, Larry. These are delicious.
Hey, so Lance, you're
Give it
running
that.
You're running just 2 flies.
Yep, just 2 flies. We are tipping them today, though.
Yep.
A lot of times in this cooler water, we'll tip them and started off one with, one without. We got 2 fish with the minnow on, so I'll just let the fish tell the story.
I like your thinking on that. I don't want anybody to know I got a fish out. I don't want anybody to know. Right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, on the middle fly too. On the red and white. Team USA right there. You know, this happens in Oshkosh too, but you see it a lot up on the Wolf where everybody's kind of congregated together right there. There's a good pot of fish there and you go through and there's 50, 60 boats. It's pretty cool how everybody gets along, and that's really what it's all about. And that's one thing I do love about the outdoors is that, yeah, once in a while there's a little friction here and there, but for the most part, people get along and everybody's out here trying to enjoy the day and catch a few fish. What do you got going there? There, Lightning? Ooh, there you go. On a minnow still or not?
On the minnow, I got both minnows on. So.
Okay, I'm with minnowless now. You're with minnows, I'm with minnowless. There you go. On that middle fly again.
Yep.
Your top fly, I should say you don't have them.
Red and black. Yeah, 2 flies. That's enough for me.
It's a big thing to really think about, especially when you come out of a cold spring like we've had, is that, you know, typically when that water temperature drops down so cold or drops down so much at night like that because it's so cold that your later mornings, afternoon bites are definitely a lot better. And I'll take the sun any day of the week, even in clear water.
It's 3 in a row on that pink and white. That's one thing to pay attention to a lot on these flies. The colors are a little different every day.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's got their own favorites, but
Right.
you start catching 3 or 4 on one color, you kind of know to go to that. Start switching them up, go to that color.
One more beer.
We're out of here.
Well, by now I'd be hammered.
What's that, 2?
Right, too. That's about all it takes when it comes to beers for me. How are you actually hooking that minnow on
right
that
through
fly?
the bottom, right through the skull.
Okay. This is a great rod too. This is the 7.2 Mags custom rod. This is what they call the bottom bouncer rod. Any kind of rigging, bottom bouncing, pulling flies works awesome for. Even crankbaits, flatlining crankbaits. Had a double going there for a second, you guys. See what we got here. Walleye. There we go. We just started dragging jigs. What we're doing is pulling upstream with, obviously with
I just lost one.
with the bow mount, pulling upstream with the flies, and Lance is whacking them pretty good with the minnows on, and decided let's drag back. Let that one go. I'm so confused. Look at that.
Anybody should be using one pole. It should be Smith.
Oh yeah. Not big enough for me though. Oh, you ain't getting that, you little bit. You ain't getting that one.
Oh, Oh.
Sheephead.
Oh.
I knew I could tell by the way
First
it was
sheephead of the year.
fighting.
Not good. Not
Welcome
good.
to the Lake Winnebago, my friend.
And that was on a minnow Smith.
Right. In about another probably month, we're going to be up on the bay trying to catch a sheephead over 20 pounds. You know what? Last year we did that show with our good friend Chris from Badgerland Tires, and I'll tell you what, I had one heck of a good time doing it, and that was probably one of my favorite days that we filmed through the whole course of the year. We must have caught over 100 of them, and some of them were pushing close to 20, but this year our goal is to try to get one over 20, and we're going to go out on the lake on a couple of humps I know where these fish actually spawn. Oh, there you go. Right? You were afraid to say, right? At least you got the right
Well,
species.
I guess the wrong species last time.
Right. No, at least you got the right species this time.
But one pole in the hand, we got them in.
Right.
Not tangled up
Anybody
in the
can
props
fish
and the
with
transducers
anybody
and
can
that.
fish with one pole. This ain't Minnesota, right? You want to fish one pole? Go to Minnesota. In Wisconsin, we can use three poles.
You can fish with 6 poles if you want, Larry, but you can only control one.
Well, I got both. I got 2 arms, 2 hands,
Right.
2 legs, 5 fingers on each hand.
And one transducer in the boat, and you found it.
A big fish he wrapped up in there. It wasn't a sheephead. What do we got here
Great
now?
flavor.
I don't know.
Or is that doing circles on you?
No, I don't catch them with
no.
circles.
Yeah, getting closer to an eater.
Right?
I think that is an eater.
Yeah, that's a good fish right there. That's
Yep.
14 inches. I'll keep him at that. At least there's something worthwhile on there eating, you know. We still would love to see that limit at 15. You guys got to either take Lance or take me.
Take him.
Uh-oh, I might be in trouble.
I see
Might
a
be-
lot of sheephead
might
right
be-
there. Oh, that's a beauty, Larry. They're nice, aren't they?
I don't mind catching sheephead. You know, Lance is back there complaining about catching sheephead. I kind of like catching them. What do you got there? Well, I'll take it off for you. Not a problem right there. I just want them about another 20 pounds heavier than that. Remember, never leave fish to find fish. An old wise man said that. I think his name was Al Linder. What do you mean different color? Oh, white bass.
Finally a white bass on a minnow.
I'll take that any day of the week.
I'll take that over sheephead, that's for sure.
Right.
You see that hook set, Larry?
That's
like an ESPN hook set.
right.
Make the top 10.
Keep talking to yourself, Lance. Hey, it's about time you guys get out of bed. What the HE double toothpicks? Is it a rattlesnake? Right? What's going on, Uncle Perry?
It's like Yellowstone, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Lance, you open the cooler up. Oh, some hair jigs? Let's see what you got there. What do you got there, Hunter?
Mighty Whitey.
Oh.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Hey everybody, this week's tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats. Remember, the finest jerky on the planet. You know, we're getting into early summer here, and you know what? Using night crawlers is one of the main techniques on most of the bodies of water that I fish. And it's always better, instead of buying them individually, buying a dozen or 2 dozen or 3 dozen at a time. What I like to do is I like to buy a flat of crawlers, and you get 500 in a flat. Now you think to yourself, what do I do with all these crawlers? One of the best things to do is buy yourself a magic worm farm, and basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your flat into here and then keep it in the refrigerator. I'm gonna use either well water or I'm gonna use lake water. So what I'll do is I'm gonna dump this in here, try not to get it all over Lance's boat. I'm gonna use lake water here. So I'm gonna have Lance slow down a little bit here. You don't want it where it's too thick, but you want to have enough where you don't want water laying in the bottom. Take the rest of the bedding and dump it on top right here where that's basically all pure dry bedding. And I'm going to lay them up on top here. And what will happen is all the water that's on the crawlers is going to come off on that dry bedding up on top right here, and they'll work their way down. And I do this a lot when I go out and I'm picking crawlers, especially if you get a really good rain. And what'll happen is all the dead crawlers and the ones that are real weak will lay up on the top. all the good crawlers are going to work their way down into the bedding there, and then I'll just pick out the bad ones and I'll use them up right away, or I'll throw them away. Hey, again, this week's tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. You're pulling flies. I got a crank on right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we just slid back down to the mouth down here. You know, we had plenty of fish going on up on the upper part of the system, but we marked so many fish down here this morning. We wanted
And you
to come
caught
back
that
here.
nice one right
Right.
away. You know.
We've seen one other nice 19-incher caught. We thought we'd come back down here and finish off the afternoon.
You know, and that happens a lot too, like I was saying earlier, that a lot of the better bites really go late morning and into the afternoon. Again, when you come off of all these cold conditions that we've had this year so far. I mean, the water temperature from where we started this morning is up almost 4 degrees, and that's a lot. So again, water temperature this time of year plays such a huge factor. And if the sun does come out, warms that water up, a lot of times them fish will slide back shallow. But when you start today off, and today was a prime example, like all the fish that we caught today were in the deeper parts of the river here. So, and typically this time of year, the fish are not as deep. They're typically a lot shallower. But again, that water temperature is usually a lot warmer than what it is.
There's a lovely one,
I
Larry.
got a good one here now,
Oh,
folks.
no, you enjoy catching
You
these.
dang right I do.
No 10-pounder like I got, but
Well, I mean, it's not a 10-pounder like yours, but you know what they say. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hey, I'll tell you what, we had a good morning in the river and we decided to come back out and fish a little bit of lake. You know, and again, this time of year, these fish start pushing back out of the river. And there is a certain amount of walleyes that actually do spawn on the lake. And there's a bunch that spawn on the east side, but a lot of the fish that spawn on the west side definitely are closer to the mouth of the river, either south or north of it. And we decided to go south, and Lance had a couple on already here. We've only been in here a little bit. The water's dirty, it's 5 degrees warmer, but you know, these fish will stack up in here and basically be in here for the next month, month and a half. So what we're doing now is basically just spot locking, pitching in on some of this rock. There's a bunch of different humps here. There's a little bit of rock on the shoreline here that we're working to that's out a little ways. And again, just kind of dragging them jigs over that 16th, 8th ounce jigs. We almost got a perfect wind now because it just started picking up and it's actually blowing out of the east, blowing in on this western shoreline here, which is going to activate them fish too. I guide pretty much over 300 days a year, and the people that I bring into my boat aren't just customers and friends, they're actually family. And I always try to keep these people as comfortable as I can and safe, and I cannot think of a better product than a Warrior boat. Why is their customer service so good? Because they know that you're part of their family. Come join the Warrior family.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, there we go. The old silver minnow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that thing. That's what it's all about right there, folks.
On the old shiver minnow.
Oh, yeah, big walleye. Oh.
Hey, Shotgun, we're not in the kitchen today, we're out in the parking lot. Got the grill fired up to 400. I'm gonna show you guys how the best way I know how to make wings. I called Leroy's, I said I want the biggest wings you can find me. So I got some on already. What I'm gonna do is put them on the grill for a while, get them browned up. I'm gonna take them inside and finish them off in the charred deep fryer. Okay, it's been like 15 minutes, but I think we should have got pretty good smoke on these wings. We're gonna head inside and do the finishing touches on them. Oh yeah, got a nice gold on them, we're good. What color you want? I got a nice smoke, some markings on them. I'm gonna finish them off inside. We got some nice rub from Leroy's. All right, Shotgun, we're back in the kitchen. Second half of this, I got a good smoke on the grill outside. Take and dunk your wings in the charred deep fryer. Sealing all your goodness. All right, first batch is coming out. They're in there for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna dump the next ones. I think the first batch I'm going with Leroy's Caribbean Jerk. As soon as they come out, guys, put it on because the oil's hot, it'll stick right to it. Round 2 of wings coming out. Now this one here, it says Ultimate Steak Seasoning. All right, folks, that's what they look like when they're done. Caribbean jerk. Shotgun in the kitchen. Today it's chicken wings from Leroy's with Caribbean jerk and ultimate steak seasoning.
For sure. Woo! There we go. I'll tell you what, that's a nice fish right there. You know what? It is an interesting thing too when you start thinking about Lake Winnebago. And I love it now that the fish, a lot of them have come back out to the lake. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of fish in the river. And as long as that river keeps flowing, there'll be fish there. It doesn't matter if all of a sudden the current dies down to nothing and all of a sudden you get some massive rains and that current picks up, them fish will shoot right back up into the rivers. But it's cool to see now that a lot of walleyes are back out in the lake, and maybe some of these walleyes even spawned out here. But what we're doing again is basically just pitching some of these rock humps, and right now we're on a little bit of a shoreline rock hump, but we noticed, you know, when we came through, there was, you know, a couple of points to the north where we're at now. And again, Lance is watching electronics, could see these fish down there, and we just started pitching here, and we have lost probably 5 or 6 walleyes already and caught probably 20 sheephead. You know how that goes, but it's fun. I love this system. And again, that's about a 15, 16 inch fish. That's where you want to start keeping these fish and eating them, anywhere from like 14 to 15, 16 inches. Hey everybody, it's always nice to come home and be able to fish on your home water. You know, the thing about the show is we do a lot of traveling all over the country, which I enjoy, and I enjoy meeting other people. But it's always nice again to be able to come back and fish your home water. And it's nice to see the direction that this fishery is in right now. It's a good direction for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot of action.
A lot of
small
action.
walleyes we've seen today, which is great.
Yep.
Got a couple leaders, came out on the lake, and you found a nice walleye. We missed a couple, and boy, the sheephead put on a feeding frenzy this afternoon.
Hey Lance, let's tell everybody, of course, if they're going to want to give you a call, how they can come out and enjoy and learn a lot about this system and come out on their own, and they'll be able to catch fish on their own too.
Exactly, Larry. Like you say, we spend time with the clients on the boat, our clients, and show them what we're doing, our tactics. If they want to do different things, you know, we don't have to sit with the same tactic all day. Even if the bite's slow and you want to learn something different, they might not be hitting it that way, but we'll show you another way. And get out here on a nice chop, for example, hitting the rocks, we got ways to catch them that way too. But the best way to get a hold of me is give me a shout at 920-410-9920.
We want to thank all of our military men and women for the great service that they have given us and continue to give us, along with all of our firefighters and paramedics, and no doubt all of our law enforcement agents for the great service they also give us. It is a great day to be alive, and the best part is we're going to see you guys and gals again next week, and thanks for joining us. Yippee Bobby!
Put me on a sheephead hole, I'll get them. Oh, they're a beautiful fish, Larry.
I love sheephead.
Oh, you love them, yeah. You're multi-talented, all right.
Lance, you might,
Oh,
stick your nose
you
up.
tried inviting me on that trip last year.
Right.
I said no, thank you.
That's okay. Someday you'll be begging to go on that sheephead stuff.
I'll pass.
Well, now I got me a live scope. I was waiting for him to say that sheephead are actually better eating than whitefish.
Oh, easy now. Don't go that far.